going to be given by our good Brad, who has been so busy lately, and he is also going to do the opening meditation. So now we're going to turn it over to him. Take it away, Brad.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It is so lovely to be here, as always, with everybody. Thank you, Jeff, for the opportunity to come in and continue learning and growing and distilling ideas in a way that, you know, I can communicate them through my voice, through my lens, through my experience. And really, anytime I do this, I know that I walk away better. I know that I walk away better because I have the opportunity to really drill into some of these subjects. And I often believe that if you can find a way to take a subject and drill it down and distill it in a way that you can express it and deliver it to a wide range of different people, you can understand it a lot better yourself. So I'm hoping to walk away with a better understanding myself. And if anybody takes anything away from it, then that's a beautiful bonus. Today we are kicking off a series of 3 talks. Open mind, beginner's mind, don't know mind, and then we have the 4th kind of
Pillar.
Yeah, of which Ruthie's going to contribute to, of never mind. I think it's great. And so these are all different states of mind, but not just any states of mind. I believe that these are all very regulating states of mind. And so I'm going to speak to the 3 on a very high cursory level. I'm not going to get into depth on beginner's mind, don't know mind, or never mind. But in the interest of regulating, being in a regulating state of mind, I'd like to invite everybody into a meditation, as we usually do. But just have this in mind, that we are going through this practice of meditation to regulate ourselves, to regulate our nervous system, to regulate our mind, to slow things down, to provide peace, calm, stability to our experience today. So to start, I invite everybody to find a nice, comfortable position. What does that mean? I feel like a comfortable position to be in is one where our skeletal system and the earth beneath us is doing most of the work. So finding a position where we're not straining our muscles, our neck muscles, our back muscles, core muscles, anything like that. Find a position that is just naturally supporting, and we can feel the earth underneath us really grounding and supporting us as much as possible. Our spine is in nice alignment. Maybe our head is tilted down ever so slightly, so we have a nice aligned spine and neck. Maintaining an understanding that we are here for this meditation, for this understanding, for this talk, to regulate ourselves, to regulate our state of mind. And before we start, I want to share with you all that there is a time available to you for thinking. There is a time available to you for movement. It will be there to support you. This is not that time. This time that we have together right now and in your own meditation practice, mindfulness practice, is a time for stillness. It's a time for presence. And this time that we have, that we're sharing together today, is a gift for each and every one of us. And it is a gift for everyone around us. So keep that in mind. I invite you to either have your eyes closed or soften your gaze, whatever is most comfortable. If we can all join together with 3 guided deep belly breaths, in through the nose, filling your belly first and into your chest, exhaling through your mouth after a short pause at the top, exhaling through your mouth, maybe making a hum or a sound if that feels good. And we'll take 3 breaths to start with each chime. And for the moment, I invite us all to focus on our breathing. Inhaling through the nose and out through the nose. Not controlling anything for the moment. Just witnessing. Witnessing this automatic process, this gift that our body gives us of breath, without even thinking about it, without needing to do anything. Our body is giving us breath. And just witness that breath as it is in its natural state. Does anything feel constricted? Is your natural tendency to have short breaths right now, or big breaths? Just trust that whatever your natural state of breathing is in this moment, it's what your body is recognizing that you need. And just be with gratitude for a moment as you witness your breath. Transitioning into a state where we are practicing mastery of our mind and body. I invite us all, if it feels good, to transition at your own pace to big belly breaths, still in through the nose and out through the nose. And as you breathe, just repeat to yourself internally, I am breathing a big breath in and exhaling a big breath out. I invite you now to gently transition when it feels right and when you're ready to short, shallow breaths. Saying to yourself, I am breathing a shallow breath in and exhaling a shallow breath out. Further deepening into a state of relaxation. invite you to transition at your own pace and where possible to breathing in and exhaling through every cell in your body, feeling the oxygen enter in every cell and nourish your body, and exhale through every cell. Now, as you continue to feel the nourishing and supportive energy of the air, the oxygen coming into every cell of your body, I invite you to place your consciousness at the top of your head, at your crown, and see if you can pinpoint that area and just release and rest and relax. And gently follow a line all the way down your body, crossing your forehead, allowing release and rest in your eyes, in your cheeks, in your jaw. It's like molasses, just gently, warmly flowing down your body, giving you permission to release and relax. Down the back of your neck and your shoulders, front of your chest, down to your core, all the way down your spine, feeling this slow, warm energy just gently melt down your arms, and your wrists, and your fingers, feeling supported by the earth beneath you, feeling supported by your beautiful skeletal system, just allowing yourself to be in a deeper state of rest and relaxation. At this point, focus back on the deep in-breath and out-breath through every cell of your body. Now from a new place. And just be here for a moment. inviting everyone to come together one more time in unison with 3 deep breaths, prompted by a chime. Again, softly transitioning to deeper belly breaths, pausing at the top, and releasing possibly with a sound, maybe not. Starting now. Gently coming back into awareness of the space. Possibly opening your eyes, gently, soft gaze. Coming back into the space and bringing with you this new state of being that you just gifted yourself through your own practice. Just give a minute for everybody to come back at their own pace. How does everybody feel? Regulated? Good. That's good. Wonderful. Thank you for that. I really felt connected to everybody through that. And there was a part where I was sort of trying to figure out how much time I was going to give, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll speed it up, I'll go a little bit shorter, and I was like, not this group. These guys have got it. So thank you for staying with me. So today, again, we're going to kick off 3, 4 talks on the state of mind. And as I prefaced before, I think the key characteristic of all of these states of mind is that they're regulating, right? And so I want to talk about the 3 in a very high level cursory view first for comparison, because they're very similar. There's actually consideration around doing this as one talk, which makes sense. And I also want to preface by saying this is my experience of this. This is my lived experience. This is my researched experience. If you take something from it that resonates and aligns with you, wonderful. If you have your own thoughts and feelings about it, that's also wonderful. And I think there should be time at the end to share. And how you feel about something might resonate with someone else as well. So please feel free to own your experience. So the first state of mind that I'm going to be addressing today is open mind, which in my experience I feel that the state of being in open mind is a state that is aligned with acceptance in my experience. There's also beginner's mind, which I believe in my experience has an energy of seeking. And then don't know mind, which in my experience I feel has an energy of responsiveness to it. So in my experience I feel like these are some of the nuances between them. And some of our other speakers may have different thoughts on that, and I'm really excited to hear about those as well. So those are the 3, and then also Ruthie is going to touch on Nevermind, which I think is going to be great. So first I want to talk about the importance of all of these. So, we know the 3 that we're talking about. Why do we care? Again, I think it goes back to the fact that these are regulating states of mind. So I've written down here, the state of the mind is the state of the operator at the wheel of everything we do. And so I'm a fan of analogies, so the analogy that I use for this is our state of mind is almost like the driver behind the wheel of a car, and our body is like the car. So when we put our foot on the gas, we don't have to think of the fuel injector and the fuel filter and the pistons and all the things that react to that thing. Similarly to, at a very young age, when we are eating a bowl of cereal, I was fascinated by this with my own kids when they were very young, just watching them learn how to use a utensil. I remember thinking, oh my goodness, the number of muscles and the amount of active thing. Like if we tried to make a machine do this, you would need all the experts in the world to try and figure out how to make that happen, and we're figuring it out as human beings. It's amazing. So those kinds of actions, like our physical actions, the way we move our body, the way we write or communicate externally to other people, that's like the process of a machine, right? Whereas the state of mind, the state of being, is like the driver. I am telling this thing to turn left. I am telling this thing to do this, and I'm doing it in a certain way depending on the state of that driver. So, for example, if we're in a car and as a driver we are tired, then the affect of how we move through with this machine is that we're going to be more slowly responsive, potentially, to whatever it is. So the way that we operate this thing is going to be slow. We're going to be slow to react to outside circumstances and things like that. If we're sick, we're going to be compromised in how we operate this machine. If we're angry, we might be driving aggressively. And even if we are in too much of a state of joy and elation, we might feel distracted while operating this machine. I know we've talked a lot about the middle way. I'm a big fan. And to me, the middle way is shaving off the peaks and the valleys of our experience and not allowing external circumstances to jerk us in one direction or the other. And that includes happiness. When we attach to joy or attach to happiness, it's almost the precursor to suffering when it comes from something external that we don't have control over. So what I'm trying to get across here is that our body, the way we express ourselves, the way we communicate to other people, is much like a car. It's a machine, it's reactive, there's triggers and processes, and with few exceptions, unless we are physically compromised in some way or another, the body will react in step with whatever our state of mind is. If we have a constricted state of mind, our body is tense. If we are happy, our body, like all of the different states of mind, really do affect our body in a significant way. And as I was going through this, I had a little bit of a meta experience. Because as I was going through this information, forming my thoughts around this, I had something external come into my experience that changed my state of mind and changed my state of being. And I can see on this sheet of paper, my handwriting changed drastically. My body, my physical body, something as simple as just writing, changed drastically. My handwriting is garbage, don't get me wrong. But it got significantly worse. And that, to me, felt like something worth calling out as a really great example of how important the state of mind is in relation to how we move throughout our experience. What is the end result? So we're talking about why this is important, and these are different affects and these are different things that happen as a result. What is the end result? In my experience, I can see the end result of dysregulation of our state of mind, of our nervous system, of our body, and our relationship between those things, causes suboptimal performance in the body, writing, causes inflammation and sickness in the body. Our thoughts can deteriorate our physical health. Our state of mind, open mind, beginner's mind, don't know mind, or the antithesis of those things, which we'll talk about, can actually affect the cells in our body, our organs, how we are in physical well-being or not, and dysregulation can lead to something as severe as death, right? So I'd mentioned the antithesis of each of these states of minds, and in some of my previous talks, for those of you who've been here, I like to talk about like the other side of the coin, because I think when we understand the other side of the coin, it helps us to understand everything a little bit better. And so, what is the antithesis of an open mind? Closed mind. Other words and characteristics for that are maybe stubbornness, maybe sadness and anger. When in a situation that you can choose to have an open mind, maybe you're going to be sad and angry about it. In my experience, for beginner's mind, what is the antithesis of that? Maybe a stagnant mind, maybe an antiquated thought process, right? And then for don't know mind, it can be that egoic know-it-all energy, which is not helpful. God, I was so in that energy maybe I still am. God, please don't hesitate to check your brother here. Unaware, unawake. Whereas the qualities of these regulating states of mind that I can see are in open-mindedness are grounded and stable energy, a grounded and stable state, a state of unattachment. We talk about attachment as being a root cause of suffering. I feel like being in an accepting state of open mind allows us to be free from the suffering caused by attachment. Qualities of the beginner's mind, for me, are curiosity, inspiration, and motivation. And qualities of don't know mind, for me, are self-awareness and humility. So I'm going to leave the overarching for now. I'm going to dive a little bit more into open mind. So as I mentioned...
Before you do that, can I just say something really practical about this? We live in, to be honest, and not go into detail, we live in a dysregulated world. Especially dysregulated now. Increasingly dysregulated. And so this is crucial to live in that world in a different way. Otherwise we get trapped in those closed-minded ways, even within ourselves. And so this is super practical in this given day, in the world, even in our lives here. And so I think I'm really glad we're doing this series, because we are in charge of the state of our mind. Despite the dysregulation around us. Yeah, Mark.
Can you help me understand? I don't understand.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, that's a great question.
I didn't hear the question.
The question was helping to understand what it is to be regulated.
What does regulated mean?
What does regulated mean? So to me, regulated is being in a state of optimal performance, where everything is working as it should. So, for example, if you have a vehicle and the oil light comes on and the engine light comes on, and you don't heed those warnings, eventually the oil's going to drain out, or whatever's going to happen. That vehicle may still be functioning. As a person, switching back and forth between analogies here, or examples, I may still be functional, may still be able to go to work, but I may be dysregulated. That car may still be driving, but there still may be parts of it that are dysregulated, that aren't in a state of optimal performance, that over time deteriorate and cause problems. So in my experience, I feel like the state of regulation, or to be regulated, is where your mind, your body, your spiritual body, your emotional body are all functioning in an optimal way and being supported with the things that they need.
Right, would you use the word balance? Balance is a word for regulated?
I think balance could be if the optimal performance of that thing was balance.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are probably some things that aren't specifically in balance.
Okay.
And if they're not meant to be in balance, if something is meant to be counterbalanced, for example, whether it's in our bodies, in the structure of something, maybe that is its optimal state. So I think that there are some things that if they are in balance and they're meant to be in balance, that they would be regulated, and others that if they weren't meant to be, if they were specifically not meant to be in balance, but that was their optimal state, that would be healthy as well. How does that feel for you?
Closer.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I would love to hear any of your thoughts as well.
Well, I don't want to derail the conversation.
That's okay.
Or May has something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like when you talk about this, like this is like the work, like with the somatic work, right? Like autonomic nervous system dysregulation and getting people back into balance. And so from that lens, the way we would describe what dysregulation, and there's various forms of right dysregulation that exist also. And how we would describe it, or how I would describe it, and how we work with folks to kind of get them back into the state of we're never perfectly regulated, because that's just not like we're humans, right? So that's why we come back to practice. From my lens, I'm speaking from my experience. But like what we describe like nervous system regulation as is appropriate responsiveness from our internal felt sense to what is happening in the environment. So that's what we would call regulation. So if we're chilling out here, like we would want to be hopefully feeling relaxed or safe, right? But if there's like a panther over there, we're gonna want to be like, okay, we need to get up and move. So like there's a congruence between what's happening in the environment to like how we are able to respond to it from this lens, like a particular lens, which might be different from what you're describing. But I just wanted to add that also, right? There's a congruence and match to what's happening in the external environment. Like if our house is on fire, we don't want to be like relaxed.
Right.
You want to try to get out if you can. So I just wanted to invite that.
Can I try something with you right now?
Yeah.
So you're wrong, okay? What I'm saying is absolutely the truth.
Yeah.
And I don't see any validity in what you have to say, and I appreciate you bringing that in. What state am I in right now?
Close.
This is the antithesis of healthy behavior, right? And this is going to potentially throw you into dysregulation. It's potentially going to throw myself into dysregulation. I thought that everything you said was beautiful, by the way, and I totally agree.
But I just wanted to invite that in as far as like,
Yeah,
that's helpful.
yeah.
Certain lenses of working with the nervous system.
And I think a key component of what I'm hearing you say is that when our external circumstances are threatening that regulation, our response is to try to do something to react to it in a way to get back to regulation as soon as we can. So like the example of like if there's a panther there, I'm in dysregulation, I'm not going to go, well, this is going to suck, have at me. I'm going to go, oh, this is going to suck, I don't want it to suck, I need to get myself back to a place of safety. What does that look like? I need to run, I need to do something else.
Would you say that panic would be a state of dysregulation?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So you're in I feel like there's quite possibly a few different states of dysregulation. You're either in a state of dysregulation, or you're in a transitionary state, trying to get out, or on your way in. I guess could be two different states. And then there's as close to regulation as we can get. And I think you're absolutely right. Being human, we'll never be in a perfect state of regulation.
Well, we're constantly like working at it, right?
Yeah, it's a dance.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
the
dance with.
dysregulation shows up, and like there are folks that will not, or sometimes the only thing we can do is to disconnect,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes we can't get away from that counter, and that's also okay. But so in that, and I don't mean to I don't want to be taking
You're doing great.
too much time,
Yeah.
but but to get that back also is helpful. Like some people cannot be responsive to what's happening. So it's just as much as being overly responsive, like hypervigilant.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was telling Sharon the other day, I was walking here, and then I was like looking in the car, and all of a sudden something got me off track, and she was like, I'm like, that's the city person in me that's like used to kind of having a layer of vigilance. That's not necessary here, right? It's like there's really nothing going on. Like it's one person, you can identify who they are. So it's interesting to even find that within myself sometimes. I'm like, oh, I'm in a totally different environment right now. I can actually shed one layer of the vigilance because I'm in a different place. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh yes, here I am.
Yeah.
So just that example.
Thank you. I'd like to share 3 things just very quickly. 1, beautiful question. Thank you for asking that. I think that really enhanced what we're talking about today. And 2, thank you for your eloquent expression of what that means to you. And I think that resonates with me completely. I'm sure it resonates with a lot of other people as well. And also thank you for rolling with me in like a little thought experiment for that moment in real time. It just felt good, and I appreciate you rolling with me on that. Thank you. Does anybody have any other questions or thoughts around that before we?
I have one. You
Yeah.
go ahead. I get to talk all the time.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I just with the word panic and influence on regulating mind, and I just thought that might be interesting to attach state of mind to conscious decision making.
Mm-hmm.
The attach, or how to know to detach and put your mind to work for conscious, responsible response.
Mm-hmm.
That the mind has to function and learn and evolving to do that. And so to recognize like Spencer is coming, or I'm in panic, what does it mean? And use your mind to express certain conscious response to that. And I have a question would be how would that relate to the different states of mind you're talking about?
Yeah, I thank you for that share, and I think that's why we're all here today, because we all recognize the power of our mind and our conscious decision making, and it's a point of actually get into this in a little bit. How do we cultivate open mind? How do we cultivate these things? Because it's important to understand what they are, bring awareness to them, understand the process and the characteristics around them, the characteristics to the opposite of those things. But then also like, okay, well, what do we do with that? I feel like this group is a very rubber hitting the road type of group. It's nice to think about all these academic things and spiritual ideas, but I feel like this group does a really great job of like, okay, well, what's next? How do I apply this? How do I put this into my everyday? And you're right, we are incredibly powerful beings that have control over ourselves, and putting these things into practice is really important. Yes,
I think, really, what you might be saying is that as simple as thought creates.
Ms. Which?
Thought creates. So when you are in a regulated state, your thought has created that to become that way. When you are in a negative state, your thought has created that to go that direction
really glad that you brought that up. It's prompted me to think of something that is a practice in authentic relating, which is called set. So it's a directional process of thinking about things, about feeling and thinking about things. So set is sensation, emotion, and thought in that order. So I think that what happens to a lot of us is we actually move through our experience in the opposite direction with the thought, an emotion, and then a sensation. So we start off with the thought, say, this isn't right, that person's not being fair, and then an emotion, well, I'm upset about that, and then the sensation is, oh, my stomach is not feeling great now. I'm getting tightness because this thought is driving this emotion and is driving this sensation. Whereas in authentic relating, we are shown that a really beautiful and healthy way to be is to start with the sensation. So if we're in a situation and something happens to us that might be dysregulating or might be affecting to us, start with, okay, what does that feel like in my body now? Where is that? Oh, I have a lump in my throat. Okay, I'm not forming an opinion or a judgment or anything about that at all. I'm feeling something here. I have a sensation. Okay, that's interesting. What emotion does this usually, what is this, an emotion, what does it correlate to? That's a terrible sentence. But what does this indicate? What is this an indicator? It's like an indicator light coming up on the dashboard of your car. It's like, okay, well, what does that indicate? And then you go, okay, well, this can be sadness. Maybe this is sadness. Maybe I'm not angry. Maybe I'm sad. I might have been in the same exact situation and thought, that person did something to me and it wasn't right. I'm angry, but I'm actually sad. And I didn't give sadness a chance to be felt first. And now my thought is driving an opinion about what emotion I'm supposed to be having. And then that emotion is then going to drive, the body to feel the indicators of anger. And that's going to confuse things. Maybe I was never angry at all. Maybe I was disappointed. Maybe I was sad. I didn't give myself a chance to feel what my truth is in my body because I thought through it first. So there's a really great practice of just like, if something happens to you, before you have the chance to form a thought or opinion about it, feel it in your body first. And then wherever it is in your body, say, okay, well, what is this telling me about my emotional state? Oh, it's telling me I'm overjoyed, or whatever it is. And then you can start to form healthier, in my opinion, more accurate thoughts about what the situation is presenting to you and how it affects you.
Observation analysis.
Yeah.
Cool.
That goes exactly with the kind of stuff I've been talking about for 2 years. You observe first, then you think a bit. What is that about? And then now your choice, your conscious choosing, is in a clear state. About what it is, and now you'll probably make a better conscious decision at that point because you've gone through that process in that order. I like it. Right. Thank you.
It's a beautiful example of actually what we're talking about, open mind. So when you sit, you're opening your mind and your heart, and all possibilities can come up. When you're just reactive, like I'm angry, that person made me angry, that's a closed mind. But when you can just sit down and look at the situation and ask yourself essentially, what are the possibilities here? And then be quiet. They have a tendency to
Rise to the top.
Yeah, rise to the top, and you can say, it might be that I'm really not angry. I'm hurt. I'm sad. Whatever.
You only am tired.
That's the open mind, and that's why we meditate, is to make a field of openness.
The pause.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's perfect, and it leads into...
There's your open mind.
Yeah. So that's all great. We know the thing. It feels right. Then what do we do? What do we do about it, right? I mean, if we recognize that, okay, well, I have a property and it feels right to there's a big rock in the middle of the yard. It feels right to move that so that my kids have space to play. Well, that's great. But if we just like go out and move it, I might be really sore for the next week or so afterwards, right? But what I can do, maybe before this situation arises, maybe I can go to the gym. Maybe I can do some exercises at home. I can prepare my physical body as a part of my regular lifestyle, my regular practice, so that when I need my body, it's there for me. And similarly with the mind, we want to prepare and build up the mastery over our own mind long before we ever really need it. You know, so for me, my meditation practice has saved me so much trouble. Saved me from getting in so much trouble. And it's still out there. And as Jeff said earlier, like we live in a world where there's so much dysregulation all over the place. This would be hard even if everybody else was regulated, I feel. You know, best case scenario, everybody else is doing great, everybody else is doing their work, and we're doing our work. It's still hard for all of us. It's still a conscious, thoughtful behavior that takes discipline, that takes practice, that takes mindfulness. So when we're in a world where that isn't the case, most people aren't even aware of this, let alone working on it, I think it's important for us to really double down on this work ourselves for our own benefit. And you know, when I started off the meditation earlier today, I said this is a gift for each and every one of us, and it's a gift for everyone around us. Okay. And so how do we cultivate open mind? It starts now. It starts a while back. First of all, we need to be aware that this is something that we desire. We have to decide that we want it, and then we have to go to the gym and work out. You know, we have to sit on the mat. We have to practice. Be in stillness. Be in silence. It's a beautiful place to be. Practice our awareness in the moments when they come up. So even if any of us don't feel equipped to be in a state of open mind, say we're still feeling a little bit reactive, that's okay. Like wherever you're at, just be aware of where you're at, but practice what you can. So if that means that a situation comes up and maybe you don't have the tools practiced enough to be able to have an open mind, maybe all you have in that moment is the tool to pause. Maybe that's all you have in the moment is I know how to pause. I know how to zip, not say anything, not scowl on my face, not react. I know how to pause because I've meditated enough that I can do that. Practice that. Practicing that in real-time situations will eventually strengthen that muscle over and over again. And eventually you'll be like, oh, I got this pause. I don't even have to think about it. I've had that experience myself where I was like, oh, wow, this just happened. And it felt almost like, years ago, if I went to try and lift up 200 pounds, I'd be, I don't know if I can do this. And then all of a sudden, just working out regularly over and over again, meditating regularly, all of a sudden I walk over and I'm like, oh, what's this? Cool. You know, and that's what it felt like for me in those experiences.
You create new neural pathways.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they get stronger.
It
and all of a
becomes
sudden
easier.
It becomes natural to work that neural pathway.
Yeah.
Instead of the dysregulated ones, which can be strong as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I have down here, be brave.
Cultivate some belief in yourself.
Yeah. Believe. Well, and right after be brave, it's trust the process. Right? Trust in yourself. Trust in this process. But it does take courage sometimes, because when you're in a moment and something is happening to you, particularly when it's with interpersonal communication with other people, it sometimes takes courage to say, hey, I'm feeling dysregulated. I need to pause. In whatever words work for you. That might not be, you may not be that technical. You know, step number 743A, you know, you might just say, hey, I need a minute. You know, I love you. I just need a minute. Or I totally understand that you have a difference of opinion here, and I honor that. I need a minute to figure out where I'm at and just sit with myself. Whatever that sounds like to you, it takes courage. It takes courage because I feel like as dysregulated as the world is, it's also a world that is encouraging of reactiveness. And we've talked about this before as well. Quickness to being reactive is not healthy unless you're in a life-threatening situation and you need to run from the panther or whatever. But in like conversationally in things, in matters of the heart and emotion, these most certain, or logistics around things, intellectual challenges that come up. Certainly things like that will benefit from space, time, pause, as much as is available for you. So be brave, trust the process, and resource yourself. We talk about being in a state of dysregulation is not operating in flow with external circumstances, and that could be because I'm tired. It could be because I drank too much coffee, or I drank too much alcohol last night, or whatever it is. So taking a pause and saying, okay, well, what do I need for myself to be in an optimal state to deal with this in a healthy way? Do I need to go just be in silence for a little bit? Do I need a good night's sleep before we revisit this? Do I need to eat? Am I hangry? Whatever that is. Do I need more information? Like resourcing is just literally giving yourself whatever you need to be able to show up in the healthiest expression of yourself that you can. Show up, be accountable, and circle back. So this isn't when we pause and we go away to resource. This is not an excuse for avoidance to just say like, okay, I got away from that. Don't need to deal with it anymore. Because what that's going to do is that's going to set a precedent for the person or people that you're dealing with that, oh, you don't face your problems. I can't trust you to come back to me. And then the next time something happens, you say, oh, I need a Buddhist pause. Then you go, yeah, right. You're just trying to get out of this. So be self-responsible, be accountable, circle back, show up is my recommendation. And then wash, rinse, repeat. Like keep doing those reps. When I love Lama Dorje when he talks about things that are like challenging in our life, that they have like bodhisattva energy. It's bodhisattva energy, putting weight on the bar, saying you need to work this out. Like here's another great you have a family member who's stressing you out. Here's another beautiful opportunity to get even better at that thing that you're trying to get better at. Maravilloso. How beautiful. I think about it all the time. Even something as small as, when I'm meditating, a little caterpillar or a fly is on my nose and it feels like this. I'm just like, what a beautiful opportunity. I have the opportunity to really strengthen this grounded energy, not react, take a pause. And if it's a caterpillar and it's maybe a poisonous one, maybe, I need to make a decision. Okay, lastly, I wanted to talk about just a couple of fun, one thing that's, a good additional reason to desire having an open mind. One thing that's very simple is awareness that we could come in contact with new evidence all the time. When we look at the discipline of science, science doesn't say this is this. They say we have evidence to support that this is this. And if new evidence comes in and it changes that, they say, okay, now we have new evidence that supports that this is this. So, and I actually love something that Mark has actually impressed upon me a few times, is that especially in interpersonal communications, there's my truth, there's somebody else's truth, and then there's empirical truth, right? There are things that are facts that happen. This page is blowing in the wind a little bit, that fan is rotating a little bit. My experience, my truth or my experience of that might be different than Orme's. I might go, man, that fan is blowing a lot of cool air in here. And Orme might go, oh, wow, that warm air coming down from the ceiling is feeling really relaxing for me right now. Right? So there's my truth, someone else's truth, and empirical truth. We can both agree that fan is spinning. So this is a fun thing that is another reason to desire an open mind. Who here has heard of the Mandela effect? The Mandela effect.
I've heard of it. I don't remember what it was.
So there's a researcher, I want to credit her, her name is Fiona Broom, and she recalled at one point experiencing news coverage. Like she was remembering after the fact, I remember in the 80s this news coverage of Nelson Mandela being killed in prison in the 80s. That never happened.
That's good.
But a lot of people had that shared memory of Nelson Mandela and news coverage around it of him being murdered in prison or dying in prison. A couple other fun examples of that are who here remembers the Monopoly guy and his monocle?
Yeah.
He doesn't wear a monocle, but a lot of us probably picture him with a top hat and a monocle. Mickey Mouse and his suspenders. Everybody knows Mickey Mouse and his shorts and his suspenders. No suspenders.
Don't take all away my illusions.
I know, right? But so the Mandela effect is that,
Monocle man.
and this is just another reason to support a benefit to having an open mind, because we could have our experience about something, we could have a shared experience about the same thing somehow that was never actually empirically true, that never happened
In this timeline.
in this timeline. Sure, yeah. So I think that's kind of a fun way to think about the benefits to being in a grounded, stable, beautiful state of openness. That's all I got.
That's good.
Yeah.
And next week we're going to do beginner's mind? Or how are we doing this?
I don't have the schedule in front of me, but we have.
We are going to do each one
Yep,
separately?
yep, we are. Yep.
Okay.
So the second state of I think it's beginner's mind. Mark, yours is 2 weeks from now. Yeah, and so it's beginner's mind next week.
Well, throw me in for 1 week, a little bit of time on, oh, never mind.
Got it.
It's very important.
Got it.
It's very important.
Yep.
Right? It's just a humorous way of saying,
Absolutely.
let go, detach.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway,
How are we for time?
so those are the three classic ones, and then that other one, I discovered I needed a lot of letting go, non-clinging over the years. You know. So I'll throw through
Do you
some-
want any other kind of how we do for time?
Yeah, so it's 11 right now, so we can go into our...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have
Okay.
time for both metas, yours and mine?
We do. It's 11 o'clock. We also have time if anybody else has a comment to make.
What about the people who have come back? Are you? Is this like you remember?
What?
People,
What-
several people have just returned from long trips away.
Yeah.
I wondered if when they came in, if they said, "Oh, it's still here,"
Yeah.
and how has it affected you over the years? Are you glad to be back?
Well, it's good to be back. And well, if this relates to an open mind, it's better to help us to be different doors. And into the world where minds are moving on those programs and people living according to expectations and our unconscious.
regulation went well for her son.
Oh, very good. Okay.
I think Mark had something to say.
Mark.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for that. The irony is we're talking about open mind, and I can't get past regulations. Okay, so good. I mean, that's the reason we come here is to engage in something and consider it,
Yeah.
and then walk away with something like I don't understand, or wow, I do understand. So you
Yeah.
expressed that well. Thank you for that talk. Interestingly, you added something about being away and coming back. That you felt that everything was, from what I heard you say, was very regulated and not open and flowing. And we're talking about open mind, and this is the conflict I'm having. Is regulation feels like a wall, a break, or a stop.
It does for a lot of people. It sounds like
and-
rules.
Yeah,
Rules and
that
regulations.
is open
Sounds
mind
like
to me,
something
which means
strict.
now I have to open my mind to understand regulation.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And I knew that it was the rules and regulations that was behind what you said
Yeah.
earlier. That sense of, so semantics are always
See, I
require a lot of open mind.
See, I feel like I love, obviously, I love the conversations that we have. We've had beautiful conversations about so many things. One that sticks out to me is around boundaries. And I love how we saw things a little bit differently and kind of two sides of the same coin, or maybe same general idea but with different thoughts around it. And it's super expansive for me to hear. So thank you for that. And I also want to say that, so I did sort of touch on a high level of the three topics, and I realize now that I was talking about don't know mind, not know mind. And I think that there are a few different variations, and Ruthie bringing never mind and things like that. So I think just a lot of these things are sort of amorphous, like in this like middle gray area of things, especially these topics. Because they are so similar and so close. So I apologize for misnaming that, and I'm really looking forward to your talk. So what I was thinking is we would go into meditation,
Yes.
and then you're doing a meta, and Ruthie's doing a meta, is that right?
Both kind of, yeah, you get two.
This is what
two for
Ruthie's
the
saying,
price of
yes.
one.
Okay, and then I had asked Orme if she would provide lead us through the dedication at the very end.
Let's do that all now. That sounds like it's time.
Mafioso. Okay,
Want to do the meditations then?
No, Brad's going to take it first.
we'll start.
Okay. Oh, you two are doing. You and Orme.
I'll hand it over to you for meta.
Yep.
And then Orme will just give us a beautiful dedication at the end.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much.
You want
Okay,
me to
beautiful.
start?
Nope, I'll start. Okay, so everybody find a comfortable position.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't hear good.
A comfortable state of regulation.
Right first thing.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
I didn't hear
Yeah, just feel in a state of ease. Feel in a state of presence. Feel supported. And again, understand that there is a time for thinking, for being analytical, for problem solving. There is a time for physical movement, for doing things. And this is not that time. How beautiful. We get this time. We have this time available to us for stillness, for deep presence. And for those of us who have chosen to be here and chose to give this to ourselves, just recognize it as a gift. Recognize it as the gift that it is for us, for each and every one of us. And also, how much of a gift it is for everybody that we come in contact with, everybody else in our orbit and beyond. What a gift. With that, I invite us all to take 3 deep belly breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, pausing at the top of your in-breath with each chime, starting now. take this gift of a moment just to bring your awareness to your natural state of breathing without any judgment, without any need to think about it, just gentle, loving awareness and gratitude. Feeling the frequency of this beautiful land, everyone in this beautiful pavilion, all the birds and insects and wildlife that surround us, the trees, just feeling the energetic frequency of all of it, because we are connected, completely interconnected to it all. Allow yourself to be consciously aware. Just observe that interconnectedness. Take a moment to gently scan your body from your crown all the way down. See if there's any areas of tightness or constriction that feel available to let go of. Allowing yourself to experience a deeper state of presence and relaxation and stillness. In this beautiful state of stillness, I invite Ruthie and Jeff to lead us in our beautiful loving kindness metta meditation.
Okay. You telling me I have time to speak?
Yes.
Thank you, Brad. Thanks, everybody. I think we all know that everything in the Dharma is for our well-being. Nothing more so than metta, which is loving kindness. And we're going to do 2 guided meditations today on loving kindness. We usually do 1, but we'll do 2 today because I want Jeff to do 1 and I'm going to do 1. I won't go through the whole routine for lack of a lot of time. But just relax. If you need to stretch, now's the time to do it. And we're going to do a meditation for the widening of the circle of compassion. And we're going to begin with ourselves and move outward to other people. We'll go at it one at a time. I'm going to say a well-wishing out loud for that person that we're looking at, and you repeat it to yourself. Okay, begin with yourselves. See yourself either as a reflection in a mirror or perhaps just seeing yourself without any reflection. And to yourself say, may I be well. May no harm come to me. May I live with ease, that's equanimity, calm and peaceful. May I be happy. Now smile to yourself. Take a deep breath. Bring to mind someone you love with all your heart. Smile to that person. Say his or her name. And then say, may you be well. May no harm come to you. May you live with ease, calm and peaceful. may you be happy. Smile to them again. Take another deep breath. Move one circle farther out to a neutral person. Someone whose name you probably don't know, or you may or may not, but there's someone you're not close to. It might be somebody that's always nice to you when you go to the grocery store and they wait on you or what have you. A neighbor that you've never met but you wave at them on the road. And to this person, if you don't know their name, say friend. Dear friend, may you be well. May no harm come to you. May you live with ease, calm, and peaceful. May you be happy. And now, farther out, we bring to mind a person with whom we are in conflict. See this person's face. Breathe very deeply the relaxation that will allow for all sense of malice or anger or hurt, any negative feelings to flow outward in the wishes for unconditional happiness. So to this person say, may you be well. May no harm come to you. May you live with ease, calm and peaceful. May you be happy. Take a moment with this one. You may need 2 or 3 breaths. But feel the release of letting go of ill will. And now we are moving as far out as we can go to embrace all living creatures everywhere on this plane and all other planes. And to do this, we put our hands over our hearts, like this. See, symbolically, this is the biggest place we have in which to hold close everything, everyone. And the words are a little different. We start this way. May all beings everywhere, on this plane and all other planes, be well. May all beings everywhere be safe. May all beings everywhere be free from suffering. May all beings everywhere be happy. Take another deep breath. If you're doing this at home, you can sit with it and kind of let it go into a cellular sense of goodwill. But now we will release our hands. And Jeff is going to give his version, and this is an example. This is not a set meditation. It's a personal meditation. We always use, in one way, form, or another, however we formulate it, everything and everyone, all sentient beings. But we do it in little bits. You can walk down the street and just each person that you come to, in your heart or your mind, you say, may you be well, or may you be happy, or may no harm come to you, or any of these things. It can be directed at personal things, or events, or anything else. It's a very, very totally personal meditation. And this is what first appealed to Jeff. It's why I got into the whole Dharma situation to begin with, because it was a very unkind world in which I lived. That was a long time ago. And he can tell you about his experience, but he also has a very beautiful one that he's evolved for himself. So take it away, Jeff.
So I'd like you to think of the same 5 sets of people that you just went through. And I'm going to have this evolve even further today. Think, focus on yourself first. Only one set of wishes with some silence between. Think about yourself. I wish for myself an open and regulated mind. Think about a person you love. Here's the wish. I wish for you an open and regulated mind. Think about the neutral person that you thought of before. Same wish. I wish for you an open and regulated mind. To the same person that you have difficulty with or they have difficulty with you. Same wish. I wish for you an open and regulated mind. And finally, with a smile on my face, to a dysregulated world. Same wish. I wish for you, for all of you, all levels, all planes, an open and regulated mindset. Give yourself a good breath with that. Applying what we thought about today to ourselves, to people we love, to a neutral person, to people who are difficult, and to everyone everywhere. Namaste.
Namaste. What are we going to do this?
immeasurables. Can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. This is rooted in the Buddhist practice, the four immeasurables. So just be at ease, comfortable, close your eyes or keep your eyes open. And then you can repeat or internally or out loud after me. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be separated from the supreme joy that is beyond all suffering. May all beings rest in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, and sorrow.
You want to do the benediction? Sure.
All right. For those of you who don't know this, we're going to say this together. When I go 1, 2, 3, we speak in unison. If you don't know the words, they're up here. Okay, everybody, this is a wonderful session. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Brad.
And Orame and everyone who spoke. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Go in peace. Go making peace.